Hello everybody and welcome to another live stream. So today's live stream will probably be a little bit short, just because I do have other previous engagements. But I wanted to give you guys a quick idea of some of the things that I've been working on recently. So some of you guys may already know that I do some 3D work and I do a lot of casting. I actually produce my own products and prototype. Um, but I wanted to give you guys some insight as to some of the upcoming pieces I'm working on, and one of them is a creature designed for a magnet. So let me just turn off the title card here so you guys can actually see what I'm working on. So this is the current design as it stands. Now, there's still quite a bit of work I need to do because I essentially need to go in and add a main into this area here. I need to then refine the teeth and the mouth area as well. Now, for this, I've actually separated out the base of this creature, and for the mane mainly, specifically to make it a bit easier to A-model and do any changes if necessary. Because I'm pretty happy with this portion here, I just need to refine some of the details. Now, to give you guys an idea though, this is actually going to be printed extraordinarily small. So it's actually going to be, let's see if I can zoom out here. When it's printed, 3D printed, it's actually only going to be about this size here. So most of the finer details will be lost, which is also why I'm working on just getting the main details in. By doing that, it allows me to focus more on the main areas. It means that I'm not getting distracted with anything as well. So in this case here, I've left off at the main area. This is actually Blender release candidate number 2, so it's not actually a finalized Blender release either. So there could possibly potentially be some risk corruption issues or things that are similar. Thus far, I have actually had no issues, so I'm actually testing it now during this live stream on a separate computer to make sure that there's no issues with the graphic card or anything like that, which seems to have been the issue as well. It also allows me to see if I can actually use this computer for things like this in the future, because this computer setup is different. So I'm going to go back to sculpting while I have a little bit of time. Like I said, I'm only adding like really basic details because you won't see the finer details once it's 3D printed unless I actually try to refine this later on into a larger 3D print. Now, since this version of Blender is so different from previous iterations, the keyboard shortcuts are actually quite a bit different as well. I have temporarily switched back to the old format for the keyboard shortcuts, and that's just to save me on production time. Because at this moment in time, I don't have time to actually go in and learn all these new keyboard shortcuts and workarounds. They do have a training document that should help. So if you guys do 3D, you might want to check that out as well. Because I'm still learning a lot of these new shortcuts that they have. Personally, I set up my previous Blender to have different move buttons. And I'm probably going to do the same thing once again. I don't normally like their defaults, but I'm going to give it a try, see if I can get used to it. Because I don't use the overall scale, I normally want a finer amount of control on the pieces I'm working on, personally. I do have this design actually set to mirror, so anything I do on the one side actually gets mirrored onto the other side as well. It does save you a lot of time in production, and it's nice to see that this feature actually is very well implemented, at least for now. I haven't had any issues thus far, but you never know. As far as I know, they're planning to release the full update for this Blender software in the very near future. And once they do, I will probably actually, because I'm doing most of my 3D stuff in Blender already, there's really, even though I own Maya, I actually purchased it when I was a student. I honestly find that in general, some of the tools compared to the version I had purchased were actually just better utilized. I had bought a much earlier version of Maya, but I saw no actual reason to invest in a new version when a open source version like this is actually more functional for the type of use cases that I have. Now these portions will also be on a pedestal, so that's actually a portion that I already have modeled. It's actually just saved in a different file at the moment, and I will be importing that later on. Okay, guys, so that's going to be it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and I hope to see you guys soon. So thank you and take care.